As 1914 drew to a close, Europe had been at war for months. On the Western Front, opposing armies faced each other across a stalemated front line running from the North Sea to the Swiss border. On December 24th, 100,000 soldiers from both sides of that line decided to create some peace on Earth. They decorated their trenches with the holiday spirit. They sang carols to each other across no man's land, then walked into the space between their trenches, met, smoked, and drank together, and exchanged what gifts they could round up. Chaplains conducted Christmas services for all comers. Impromptu football matches were played. A similar truce occurred on the Eastern Front between Austro-Hungarian and Russian troops. The Christmas truce didn't end the war to end all wars. It dragged on for nearly 4 more years, at a cost of more than 20 million lives. But, for a brief moment, peace reigned. Proof that the already hardening hearts of opposing armies could at least temporarily melt, and that soldiers could treat each other as human beings rather than as mortal enemies. It's an interesting story to reflect on this Christmas, the day that we celebrate the birth of the man that we call the Prince of Peace, little stone-cold baby Jesus, or some might say Yeshua. I'm not religious, neither was Jesus, consequently. If you've ever read the Bible, and I have a few times, Jesus lived in a time that would make Hollywood parties pale in comparison. He hung out with prostitutes and only spoke against the rich and the religious leaders of his day. So, on this day, as we celebrate what has become a bigger part of all of us, a day that brings us together so closely that men at war, whom the previous day would have killed each other, walked into no man's land and found that bit of peace that Jesus tried to bring to this earth. And now here, thousands of years after the man's death, his desire for peace in all our hearts still rings true. And I hope, no matter what you believe, or if you don't believe at all, that at least that bit of peace finds you somewhere too.
The stars are brightly shining. It is the night of our dear Savior's birth.
Welcome back to Old Hollywood Briar. We started off with a story about the famous Christmas truce from World War I, so I thought it would be fun for us to open some tins from that era. These are both upwards of 100 years old. The Buckingham Bright many will recognize as half of the original half and half blend, the other half being Lucky Strike. This Dan Patch tin dates back to around 1910 and contains a pouch of a little sweet Virginia leaf. Both blends are a cut plug, which was popular back then. Here we can see the original tax stamp. It dates back to 1926 on the Buckingham Bright here. This was open when I received it. The dealer didn't even know that it had anything in it. And when I opened it up, I was just like, oh, gotta have this. You won't believe it, but I only paid about $40 for this, and it contains nearly an entire pound. You can see it's in the original paper there. I mean, some might scoff at me to think that this is the original Buckingham Bright, but I am positive that this is the original Buckingham Bright because, number one, the dealer, wasn't selling it as, oh my God, look at this old tobacco I've got. He didn't even really know. And number two, it's a bright cut plug, and it tastes about 100 years old. So I could say that. we're gonna smoke the Buckingham Bright tonight. I had some of it a bit earlier. It's actually really interesting. Take a look inside here first. You could see the remnants of the cut plug. I mean, wherever this was stored, it obviously wasn't disturbed too much because you could see a lot of that plug is still together. It's not turned into dust or anything. I did have to rehydrate it. It was obviously very dry. We're going to use the little tobacco butler here. I got this from an estate of an English lord. This would have been something that, your butler would have came and handed you your tobacco, and I also have another one that's for rolling papers. So, what I would like to use this for is drying out my blends that I really come wet. Something like a Galwith Commonwealth, something that's a plug that already comes wet. I'll put it in here and I'll just leave it in there. Just let it get out nice and crispy. Because I like my tobacco to be rather dry. You can see I rehydrated this so I could kind of push this plug together. Falls apart, crumbles apart gently. So here is a Sassini 2-dot Ompal. This is a very, very old. Remember the 2-dot? This is it says 80. The excess. Whenever you see the excess on the Sassini, that means that it was a extra high quality pipe. The excess indicated a marking that you were supposed to. A pipe that you're supposed to charge, I think, 20% more for, or something like that. You can see it's got some good, nice little bird's eye on the foot there. Beautiful grain, just an absolutely beautiful estate pipe. It's very rare to find a 2-dot that survived. Some of the 2-dots are some of the most rare Sassinis that you can find, actually. Nobody seems to know that because they sell for about $50 to $60. The 8-dots are the most rare, then the 2-dots, and then the rare shapes. But yeah, the 2-dots were the seconds that weren't quite 4-dots, but weren't quite low enough to be like a Mayfair or another one of their lines. All right, so we're going to pop open this Dan Patch cut plug here. And I'm not going to narrate this. I'm just going to let you go through and have a look at this as we open this. I said earlier I thought this was like 1910, but it's got that tax seal was made in 1926 as well. So evidently, this has got to be somewhere around the Second World War then. But still very, very old. Still nearly 100 years old. All right, so let's get this thing open. can see this thing is pretty dark. That's probably due to the age. I really doubt this is like an English blend. It's cut plug. It's probably going to be a Virginia or a Burley of some sort. As we poke around through here, I mean, it smells like a musty old sock. It's got a little bit of a musty smell to it. I mean, it's old AF, my friends. This thing is very, very old, and obviously has not been stored, humidified. It's very crumbly, but you can see even when you have tobacco that's about 100 years old, I mean, this is not turning to dust or anything like that. And this will humidify using like the paper towel method or something very nicely. In fact, I've already brought this back up to humidification now. And it looks kind of nice. It doesn't smell great, but we'll have to see in the future. Light this up, see what it tastes like. All right, let's get back to our Buckingham Bright, which we're going to have tonight on Christmas. Really excited about this blend. You know, when I first smoked it, there's something in there that it just brings up a memory. The tin art is just really beautiful. The presentation of the cut plug is great. It smells a lot like honey. It's just really enrapturous. Just, you eat with your eyes first. It's just really beautiful blend. All right, let's pack this paw here.
Dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh. Over the fields we go, laughing all the way. Bells on bobtails ring, making spirits bright.
At first breath, it's a little bit cigarette-y, a standard Virginia tobacco taste. The brights have mellowed down from lemon to more of a vinegary bright. As soon as you get past this though, just about midway down through the bowl, there's a little bit of back-end perfume on that leaf. Whatever the casing or topping was at the time, it exudes the smell of honey very strongly, but it tastes just a little, it has that effervescence. It takes you right back to grandma's back porch. I used to sit on my grandmother's back porch and play Go Fish when I was a little child, and she used to smoke her cigarettes, Carltons at the time, one after the other while we would play Go Fish. And for some reason, whatever the little back-end perfume is in this blend, it just takes me right back there. And that's kind of nice. It's been a long time since I've seen my grandmother. She passed away a long time ago. Well, thanks for watching, Old Hollywood Briar. Thanks for celebrating Christmas with us here up in Eden, Utah. It was really nice to have you. And Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever it is you celebrate or don't celebrate, it doesn't matter to me. I'd love to have you here at our table. If you like this video, don't forget that giving us a thumbs up really goes a long way to helping promote the channel. It's been a great year, and it's been great sharing the moments with you guys. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you get notified every time we drop a new video. Take care, my friends.